Hello again. I flew in the past with many Chinese carriers: China Eastern, China Southern, Air China, Shanghai Air, in both economy and business. Economy was generally solid, especially given the attractive pricing. But business class product was not very convincing to tell the least. Most recently, I wanted to take it up a notch and flew Hainan Air first class, and it was quite disappointing experience either. But I'm not giving up on Chinese carriers yet, and would like to try now Hainan Airlines, the only Skytrax 5-star airline in mainland China. Let's see how this turns out and how solid those Skytrax stars are. Hainan is rather new, established only in 1989, originating and still headquartered in a rather far away and small, by Chinese standards of course, province at the island of Hainan. As of 2025, it has a fleet of 224 aircrafts with 39 Dreamliners and a passenger traffic of almost 60 million, which makes it a bigger airline than Lufthansa or Air France, yet very little known still outside of the region. It's number 4 in China by size, and unlike other Chinese carriers, it focuses much more on long-haul international network. And most interestingly, for 13 consecutive years, it keeps 5-star ranking by Skytrax. My flight today is Beijing to Brussels on board of Hainan Airlines 787-9. It's 8,000 km 10-hour overnight flight. Hainan flies from an aging Beijing capital airport. I don't have too many expectations from it and try to arrive as close to the flight as possible. Online check-in doesn't work, which is very typical for Chinese airlines, so I have to go to the check-in counters. The international terminal is almost deserted at midnight. There are only 8 flights between midnight and 8 in the morning. By the time I get to check-in, all window seats are taken and only aisle is left. It's a small thing, but I'm a little disappointed as I really like window seats, and I already start chipping away from those stars in my mind. Otherwise, checking process is quick and efficient. Whatever shops Beijing capital has, they're all closed by now, so after security I head straight to the lounge. Here comes my first moment of being impressed with Hainan Airlines. The lounge is nice, really nice. Actually, I totally didn't expect it given how old Beijing capital airport is and how basic were some other Chinese lounges I was in. So Hainan totally exceeded my expectations. It's new, it's spacious, it has different areas and different types of seating, which give you a lot of comfort and privacy. I especially like those kind of recliner seats, really nice. And of course the big and fancy espresso machine, where otherwise there could be just some pot with filter coffee. And the cherry on the top, a very nice Chinese tea station, with different varieties of black and green teas, each with a small story about it and different fancy pots and cups. Even that I had a cup of coffee already, I could not resist from trying another couple cups of tea. I'm heading to the gate thinking that if I knew about the lounge, I might have come a little earlier to the airport. I get my first glance at today's plane and go to the boarding gate. The flight will be full, but everything seems to be very well organized at the gate. Not sure if this is a merit of Hainan or its habit of Chinese passengers to queue in those perfect lines. I'm happy that there is a separate air bridge to business class. Always gives a little bit of premium feeling, but also helps not to get stuck in the middle of that bridge. I'm at 12G. Hainan has 1-to-1 reverse herringbone seating with direct aisle access. It's the latest version of Cirrus seats that are also used by Cathay, Air France and KLM. Overall, it's a very good seat, but I'm in a grumpy mood because I'm still disappointed about missing my window seat. Hainan used to have red colors in business, but now they changed to that beige, which they call champagne gold. And I quite like it, gives a more subtle and premium feel to the cabin. There is a usual set of amenities: pillow, blanket, water, slippers, all is there and looking quite good. But somehow I have this feeling that I'm missing something. Maybe it's because I keep thinking about that 5-star rating and that brings expectation of something really special. The seat feels very comfortable. One thing that could be better though is having a bit larger screen. That large frame seems a bit old-fashioned. This seat doesn't offer too much storage space. I just got those 2 additional small storage compartments, but I have a feeling that putting a phone or a wallet there is the best way to leave them behind. What I like is that power socket is conveniently located and doesn't require you to bend all over to reach it somewhere under the seat. Same goes for USB and headphones port. They are easy to reach, which is not often the case. Sometimes it's a struggle to find them. Seat controls are very simple, which is good, with 3 buttons for fully upright, fully flat bed and recliner position. Crew starts being busy in the kitchen, which gives a promise of fast dinner service. Quick check of bathrooms and Hainan gets a solid tick. They got these nice towels instead of usual tissues. There is body lotion and toilet water on top of usual liquid soap, all of them coming from Rituals. And there is a flower too. First I thought it's artificial, but actually it's a fresh rose flower. All looks very nice and gives a good touch to something as boring as the plain bathroom could be. It's a long flight, so let's see what we got in entertainment department. I find good headphones to be very important for the longer flights. And there is a big variability of what you can get in different business classes. I have to say that Hainan performs really well here and offers a pair of very nice Bowers & Wilkins headphones. Bowers & Wilkins might not have such a big name like Bose or Sennheiser, but it's a very good British high-end audio equipment company which actually supplies stereos for Jaguar, Aston Martin and BMW. So I'm definitely in a good company here. My piece here is PX8 model, which typically retails at close to 500 euros. Let's check now the entertainment system itself. Chinese carriers are notorious for having basic systems with poor international selection. Hainan's system seems to be easy to navigate and working quite well. The screen is actually more responsive than I had on Qatar 777 recently. And I have to say that the selection of international movies and series is really good. It would not compare to Emirates, but it definitely beats any other Chinese carriers I used and would be on par with most of European legacy airlines. A pre-flight service starts with fresh towel, a glass of champagne and some mixed nuts. Now it's time to fully dedicate my attention to the menu. Let's see how Hainan can perform here and if they will live up to their 5-star status. There is a choice of several Chinese mains, Flemish stew and Chinese barbecue. It's late and I don't want something too big like a stew, so I go for barbecue and pick prawn skewers. Tomorrow morning for breakfast I will have a choice of omelette, scrambled eggs, waffle, apparently Belgium since we are flying to Brussels, and traditional Chinese noodles. It's interesting that departure service is mostly Chinese, while for morning service there is mostly European menu, both with Belgian touches. I can't help but recall my recent experience with Hainan Air in first class. There was no menu there at all, rather a flight attendant was squatting next to me and trying to recall some items from the menu in a broken English. Definitely Hainan is in a different league here with food and beverage, and they seem to take a pride in it, highlighting in the beverage menu famous Chinese connoisseurs who put together the beverage list for them. Now it's the time for Hainan performance in safety video competition. I wonder how much actually airlines are spending on producing those videos that ultimately no one is watching. Hainan video is funny and creative, but I'm not sure what someone can understand if suddenly decides to watch it. We are still on the ground, but the onboard clock is already changed to Central European time. I like it as it kind of helps you to start switching to new time zone. Oh, that's interesting. They actually got a sky chef or whatever they call this position in Hainan's cabin crew. He's in a stylish black chef uniform and starts coming around taking dinner choices. One thing that I have to tell is that Hainan crew is by far the most friendly and attentive from all the Chinese airlines that I flew, and they are the only ones that actually smile. We started taxiing, but I'm in my unlucky aisle seat, a grudge that I'm still holding against Hainan and their non-functional online check-in system. I cannot look through the window, and the only entertainment I got is to browse all that 8,000 kilometers from Beijing to Brussels ahead of us. The way I look at it, it's a short flight. 30 minutes for takeoff, then another hour for dinner, 8 hours of sleep, breakfast, and here we are. Bienvenue à Bruxelles, or something like that. Lights are off, we are on a runway and about to start the flight. It's 2 in the morning, I'm sleepy, but I got to try the dinner before I fall asleep. Once in the air, I'm trying to connect to Wi-Fi, but despite many different attempts, I fail. The service starts quickly, no more than 30 minutes after the takeoff, and here I have to tell that Hainan fully delivers on expectations. It starts with beef and mushroom roll, which I complement with a glass of Italian Vino Nobile de Montepulciano. The servings, both for the starter but also for the main, are a bit on a smaller size, but the taste is perfect and the presentation is excellent. And since it's a late night dinner, I don't mind at all the small portions. The starter is quickly followed by the main course, prawn skewer, which tastes every bit as good as it looks. There is also some small side salad, relishes and bread basket that come together with the main course. And it's not only the food that looks great, everything, the plates, the cups, the cutlery, the tablecloth, everything looks expensive and classy. The flight attendant is also offering tea or coffee. I'm contemplating for a few moments, but I really want to hit the bed and I decide to skip. I'm ready to skip the coffee, but I'm not ready to give up my desserts. I get a fruit plate, which is actually quite nice, and then as a cherry on the top comes Häagen-Dazs ice cream, which complements fruits very well. Now it's time to go to bed. The seat is very comfy in fully flat position, or maybe I'm just tired, so I fell asleep almost immediately, and exactly as per plan, sleep all the way till breakfast, waking up somewhere over Sweden. I get a nicely looking omelette with 2 sausages, bread, small muffin, yogurt and orange juice. One may say it's a bit cliché for a breakfast, but it tastes and looks good. The flight is almost over, I tried everything I could, and now it's a good time to conclude. I definitely liked my experience with Hainan. I'm not sure about that 5-star rating and if I would put them in the same lineup as Qatar, Singapore or Emirates, but they are by far the best among Mainland China airlines and at least in line, if not better, than any legacy European carrier. The only downsides were on technology side, not working Wi-Fi and lousy online check-in system. Otherwise, I had a great experience. A beautiful lounge in Beijing, new and clean plane, comfortable seats, good set of amenities, friendly service, great food, good entertainment. And once again, it's the only Chinese airline where a cabin crew smiles. All in all, I would give them 4.5 out of 5 and would definitely fly again.